Hello, everyone in the Soulful Goddess, all you gods and gods out there. Leah Vander Linden here to guide you through a reading that is for the entire group, but this is not an individual reading, so you can watch it on the replay as many times as you need to get some clarity on what awaits you this week and what it is that spirit, your ancestors, your inner child, really need you to continue to focus on and work through as this week presents itself. So let's go ahead and dive in. And if you watch this and you find that it resonates, I just invite you to please put that in the comments. The more you do, it just pushes this feed up to everybody that might really need this message and that it might resonate for. Also, anytime you receive a group reading, it's important for you to know that some may apply, some of the info may apply, and some may not. Just take what resonates and what doesn't, just go ahead and just push it off. So let's go ahead here and get started. So the first card that came up is the Five of Pentacles. So I want to go ahead and just talk about what that represents for you this week. And so the message behind this first card is really what to expect this week and what spirit and your spirit team really want you to continue to focus on for not only your group, for not only your growth, but this also helps the growth of the collective and the growth of your generation, the generations behind you, and the generations that will go ahead of you and your bloodline. So the first one is the Five of Pentacles. So this week, they really want you to continue to focus on your financial circumstances or anything that is making you feel not your highest self health-wise. So if you've noticed that you have just been completely wiped clean of energy, you're feeling very irritable, you're feeling nauseous, you're feeling sick, anything that has to do with your health, this is something that's really been coming up for you from the past few weeks and you're really feeling it this week, Spirit is saying do not ignore that. Make the appointment that you need to make to get clarity on it so that you can fully understand it more and release it, okay, if it's ready to be released. Also, your finances. This is important this week. If your finances have been a source of stress for you and a burden for you, you really need to get clear on what those financial difficulties are telling you about yourself and separating and how they're separating you from you. If you tend to be someone that's going through financial difficulties, is it each time that you face an obstacle with your finances, do you use it as an opportunity to separate from source and separate from yourself? Meaning, do you say, oh my God, this is always such a struggle for me with my finances. Everyone else has it easy where they can manifest money or blah, blah, blah. What story do you tell yourself when you reach financial hardships? What story do you tell yourself when you're reaching health difficulties? Do you use these as moments to separate from you and separate from yourself and automatically go to think what's wrong with you? Or instead, do you use these moments to dive into your faith and actually ask for clarity from your spirit team, from your ancestors, from your inner child, and really get to the nitty-gritty on what it's telling you about you and how it's separating you from you? Okay. This is a time if you're really worrying about security, financial security, you've got to make sure that you're releasing those energetic blocks, aka those limiting beliefs that once again are separating you and separating you from source. This is a time to rely on your faith and not your fear. So put on a YouTube video where you can, do an energy cleanse or an energy release sage yourself, asking for those things to release. Do journal prompts that you find on Pinterest that really will allow you to get clear on financial blocks if that's coming up. Or once again, if it's something with your health, make sure that you're getting into the doctor. Because this is the time for you as a collective and for your bloodline to relieve scarcity mindset and feeling helpless and that sense of victimhood. Why is money so hard for me? Why did every time I get money, something happens to take it away? Poor me. create victims, honey. God creates victors. So if you are in that mindset, you are separated in that moment from God in your face, sweet pea, because absolutely not. We are not set up to fail. We are set up to find solutions. And when we don't, and we refuse to, we feel like shit. Okay. So if you're feeling a lot of fear, you're feeling a lot of like you're stuck and you just can't move ahead, and you're finding all this resistance to being positive, you're feeling low self-esteem, okay, when it comes to your money, this is the time to get clear on how to get out of this. Hire a financial advisor if you need to. Take courses, get books on how to break this cycle, okay? If you've never had someone teach you how to do it, then its spirit is saying you are the one to become the teacher in your family. Does that make sense? Hi, Ambrosia. So make sure that you're using this as an opportunity not to separate from you, okay? Second card that's coming up for you is the Six of Cups. So let's move on to that one real quick. And the Nine of Cups also is coming up for you on that one. So let's start with the Six of Cups. So this can be a great card for many reasons. So this is something that Spirit and your ancestors are really wanting you to fully embrace this week, okay? So this is about really reconnecting, in my opinion, to your inner child and asking your inner child, what is it something that you need? What is something you need from me to focus on this week so that you feel loved, supported, encouraged to kick this week's ass, okay? So this is also a time where you might find people from your past that were actually positive for you, that really connected you to your inner child, connected you to your self-worth. You might find them revisiting this week, or you might just find yourself going through memory lane, where you're focusing on the good parts of your childhood and you're looking at those pictures of the happy memories. But this might be a week where you're really just taking that time to revisit your past self in a positive light and a positive reflection. With that being said, if you're really struggling and a lot of memories are being brought up of your past that don't feel so good, this is the time to make sure you're really reconnecting to your inner child and figuring out why they still don't feel good and how you can be the person to really reparent your inner child and give your inner child the things that they are needing and the things they are lacking. This is also a time to really connect to your future self, your highest self. So really sitting down, getting clarity on what it is, once again, that it is that you want, and how can you find the resources and tools to get it. Because if you're really feeling stuck in your past and you're really feeling like you're struggling to forgive others, this is also a time where Spirit is reminding you need to start with you first and do some forgiveness work on really allowing yourself to be forgiven too. This is also a week where some stuff might be coming up where you're struggling to let people in, or you're struggling to trust people. Now, providing if there's no reason, there's not really an actual reason on why it is that you're not letting them in, and you're just finding that you're just feeling resistance around that. Once again, this is a time to consult with your inner child and say, why are we having such a hard time trusting them? Is this really because of them? Or is this because of past stuff that's making us resistant towards trusting people? And if so, how can I love this part of me, honor this part of me, so it doesn't keep coming up and pushing people away from me? Does that make sense? Okay. So moving on, we also have the Nine of Cups. So 2 cups, right? So this is another card, another great card where the universe is trying to really fill your cup with everything that it is that you want and everything that you're trying to manifest. So it's very important that you're working on limiting beliefs that are separating you from you, so they don't block all the beautiful joy that is coming to you and all the manifestations that you are really trying to achieve that are coming to you, the old shit's not blocking the new beautiful gifts, okay? So make sure that as this week comes, you are doing things each day that are putting you in a good mood and a great vibe so that you are staying up here energetic wise where those things that you're trying to manifest are located at. They're not down here in worry and concern and bullshit and repeating cycles that no longer serve you. They're up here with new belief systems, with compassion, with all these things. So you need to be doing things this week, especially to get you out of that low vibration if you're in there and put you in the new vibration. As I always talk to you guys about, it only takes 7 minutes to actually really honor an emotion and to set it free so that it doesn't become trapped and repressed. So if heavy emotions are coming up this week around the things that we just talked about, the other cards, do things each day that help you release old emotion. The more you do that, you release old responses that are no longer serving you. Journaling daily for 5 minutes to 7 minutes, great energy release. Walking 5 to 7 minutes, great emotional release. Breath work 5 to 7 minutes, great emotional release. Okay, make sure you're doing things to raise the vibe, release the emotion. Also, this might be a week where you need to make sure that you are showing appreciation for and gratitude for the things that you have manifested in your past. If we don't show appreciation for all the things that we have prayed for to come, and then they come and we're just like, another thing to check off the list, on to the next, we're never going to feel the joy that the things that we prayed for, actually showing up, but they actually offer. So make sure that you're also spending this week in gratitude, okay? And that you're sitting down and you're working on anything that feels like an unmanifested dream, that you're really getting clear on the blocks on why there might be a delay and what the delay is teaching you about you. Does that make sense? So this is really the week to focus on if there are things that are continuing to come up that make you feel like they're separating you from you, that you're working through those separations, okay? Oh, I'm so glad, Marty, that you're loving it. Okay, another thing that's coming up for you is the Page of Pentacles. So the Page of Pentacles is another great card because it's clearly this week is all about your manifestations trying to come to surface, and any blocks coming forward that's preventing you from really allowing them to surface. So this week, you're going to have an opportunity to really get grounded and get balanced around those blocks and really push them out if you're ready. But manifestation is a team effort. It's you asking for help, aka praying and spending time setting intentions about it. So you are allowing the free will, right? You're allowing spirit, you're allowing your ancestors, everyone that you're praying to interfere, aka with your free will. So you're setting the intention and you're asking for help. But the second part of the teamwork of that is that you're actually doing what spirit's trying to tell you to do to get it. Okay, so this is a week for manifesting new opportunities, a lot of beautiful new beginnings. There's probably going to be good news coming to several of you. And this is the week to really access the energy around honoring your ambition. And if you're feeling a block in certain things you're asking for, sometimes it's a simple thing as you haven't got it yet, just a few more skills that you are needing. So if that's what it is, then take the classes, get the resources once again to be able to help you with that, okay? Some of you though, this week might be manifesting, or are manifesting new opportunities for career growth. So you might have promotion, news of promotions coming in. You might have people reaching out to you on LinkedIn with a job opportunity. This is a really good week to make sure that you are paying attention to any new opportunities coming your way and you're not ignoring it, okay? Because it's your manifestations really trying to turn into reality. Make sure this week you're also working on commitment That is the number one way that the inner child feels loved, is when we honor those commitments we have said forever and ever are important to us. We want a new job, we want a new job, we want a promotion, we want this, we want that. And then spirit tries to give it to us, and we don't do the commitment and consistency to actually allow it to manifest into fruition. And then we procrastinate, and this confuses the shit out of the inner child. Okay. So we want to make sure that this week is all about focusing on commitment. Anything that feels like lack of progress, that we're really taking the ambition to follow through, and that we're learning from past mistakes. And when we do that, we will find a balance in these situations and a lot more clarity on the situation. Okay, almost done here. We have also had, okay, so what this week is also going to bring is the Fool. And I love this card for this group, okay? So the Fool is once again all about common theme. You begin. But it's all about, this week is all about offering you new beginnings that are going to require you to solely rely on your faith. Okay? New beginning, lots of beautiful potential this week. And there is going to be a sense of awakening for the collective and a lot of beautiful optimism coming this week. So make sure that you are paying attention to the new ideas that are coming. And if it's something that's coming where you just don't have a ton of experience in it, and it's something that you've been trying to manifest, then Spirit is saying the only reason that it's delayed is because you just got to work on getting the resources and the tools to help you succeed through it. Okay. Oh, I'm so glad, Ambrosia. She said, woo, my timing couldn't have been better to listen into this. Okay. Okay. Spirit always clears the calendar off where it needs to be cleared, right? So Ace of Wands, every damn card. It's all about, what is it? New ideas, new beginnings. So you've got all these seeds of potential that have been being manifested over the past few months that is really trying to harvest this month. This is also a week that's going to be all about inspiration and you getting tons of ideas. So make sure you've got a notebook handy or a recording device handy where you can just constantly fill it with all the new ideas that are coming in here that you're writing them down because you're channeling those messages, and that's why they're coming in so fast. And sometimes when we're getting a lot of messages like that, I feel that is our ancestors also coming through, trying to channel messages to you that's saying, hey, we are on you, because we want you to be the one to break this cycle for our family. We want you to break this cycle for the past generation, where when we have an idea that we just put it on the back burner and put everyone else first, okay? So sometimes these messages come in so strong because they're hoping you're going to be the one to finally bring it to life, okay? So pay attention to the downloads that you're getting, write them down, and make sure that you're acting on them. This is also where you might feel an increased sense of intuition this week, where you're being intuitively guided to do things. So pay attention to that, okay? This is a week of really making sure that you're releasing any energy that's feeling uninspired or like creative blocks. And that's your body's way of saying your mind might need some rest. You have a lot of unfocused energy, and if you don't get to clarity on why it's so unfocused, then it's going to lead to excess burnout, okay? Burnout always leads to resentment and resistance. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling burnt out this week, then you need to be honoring your body and make sure that you're doing the things that give you energy, that give you life, and that raise your vibration so that you're on an equal vibration of what you're trying to manifest, okay? Got a couple more cards here, but just to reiterate, the deck that this one came from is the Light Seers Tarot, okay? So we're going to move on to what is the shadow that spirit wants you to work on this week. And this is from the Wisdom of the Shadow deck that is developed and created by two beautiful queens that are in this group. So it is, excuse me, designed art-wise from Jenny Han. And then the written format is from the beautiful Jessica Rochetti. Okay. So boundaries is what's coming up for you to work on this week. Huge for the inner child, huge for breaking generational shit as well. A boundary is not a wall of how I push people out and a need that I say, or something that you say, you obey like this, or I have an excuse to treat you a certain way where I just kick you out of my life. No. A boundary in Leo world is something that has been heavy on you for decade after decade after decade after decade, meaning it is a need that you have needed, no matter how many characters have changed in your story, no matter how many jobs or locations have changed in your story. It is something most of the time from as a child, it was a need that you needed and it wasn't met. And so you have searched for it for every person you've encountered, every lover you've encountered, every job you've had. And spirit has continued to give you archetype after archetype after archetype in your life for you to work this human need out so that this need is met, because it's that important to you for you to be able to receive that need so that you can feel what you need to feel to move forward in your life lesson. Does that make sense? So a boundary is, what is it that I really need from this situation? And have I conveyed it and expressed it? And have I loved myself enough to ask for it to be met? And if I have asked for it to be met and people have shown me that they cannot honor it, what am I going to do? Because once again, the power lies with you, not you depending on the whole world to fill all these needs for you. It's your responsibility as self-care, self-love, and self-evolving for you to get clear on what you need and you to love yourself enough to ask for it and love the people in your life enough to ask them for it instead of assuming that they would give it to you or assuming that they can't, okay? So get to terms this week. What is it that I need this week? Do I need to ask for them, or is it something that I need to give myself, okay? Get very clear on your boundaries this week. And big one, get clear on silent expectation. Do not have all this shit in your head that you need from people to do in your life that you refuse to speak about. When you refuse to tell people your expectations, you set everybody involved up to fail. No one can meet needs that they're not aware of, aka expectations. Love people enough to ask for what you want and love them enough to show you if they can give it to you. Okay? Work on your boundaries. The self-care that your spirit team wants you to work on is to continue to develop your relationship with your faith. The more you rely on your faith, the more you increase your intuition. You are getting, when you're relying on your faith and not your fear, you're getting your messages from above instead of getting your messages from your limiting beliefs. Work on doing activities on YouTube where you can look up free ways to build your intuition daily. Make sure that you're doing things, once again, to release old energy so that you can have room to get those intuitive hits that Spirit's trying to get you and those downloads that Spirit is trying to get you. Because there is so much that Spirit is trying to tell you guys that you need to work on. I really feel in the bottom of my heart, everything they're trying to get you to work on is for you to help your whole bloodline heal. And I'm trying not to get emotional, but this is really big, you guys, really big. Last but not least here, and I apologize if people are writing, I'm only seeing 3 comments at this time, so I just want you to know I'm not ignoring you on purpose. But last but not least, the crystal that they want to guide you through this week to use on this journey as you're working on your boundaries, as you're working on any money blocks, as you're working on any creative blocks, okay, is rose quartz. And rose quartz is all about healing the heart and healing the way that we see ourselves and really teaching ourselves first what is unconditional love. Okay. So it's all about helping you find unconditional love. It's all about drawing unconditional love to yourself first. And it also really helps people get through all that heavy emotion and energy that people have when they have went through past traumas about the way they view themselves, the way they see love, the way they receive love, the way they their family have even viewed and received as self-care, okay, and self-love. This is also a week to really deepen self-understanding and see yourself as a beautiful soul who has infinite possibilities. This is also a time to make sure that you are putting empathy into your relationship, okay? And that you're working on doing forgiveness work to help heal any heartbreaks or any energy that's still stuck around. You may be not feeling worthy. You may be not feeling enough. And this is also a week to work on forgiving yourself and forgiving others. And anything that's coming up that's feeling like loneliness, okay? So I hope this helps. This would be a really powerful week too, if you haven't already, to write a forgiveness letter. And if that's something that you're ever needing help on, Pinterest, great resource, YouTube, great resource, Google on how to write a forgiveness letter, okay? Because this is the time to really let that shit go from the past. Because there's so much stuff trying to come to you guys, especially financial wise and health wise, and it can't come to a mind and a body that is trapped in the past. That's just, anytime we're trapped in the past and we're trying to move forward, it's like an instant manifestation repellent. It confuses the shit out of the universe. Here's somebody asking for everything they want. We're trying to give it to them and then repelling it left and right when we're trying to give it to them. So make sure that you're clearing the blocks that might be acting as repellent. Okay. I hope this resonates. You guys have a beautiful week and a great week for opportunity for forgiveness and money and healing. Yay. All right, guys, have a great day. Talk to you soon.